Oh yay, welcome back. So this video will be sharing about drag and drop in Unity. Okay, so I did prepare two images for you guys to do some testing on this tutorial. Okay, so firstly, as usual, I will drop in these images first. Okay, I accidentally put inside another folder. Okay, so right now these are two images. So before we actually go to drag and drop, I will put this image first. Okay, so scale it, make it smaller. Okay, so probably this is my drag item. So later on, this will be the drop item. Okay, so this is my drag item. Okay. So firstly, I will actually create a script first. C# script, drag interaction. Okay, so right now I will put my drag interaction script into this drag item. Okay, I'll tell you why later on. Okay, so open up the script. So after you actually open the script, there's a function that we wanted to use, which is actually called on MouseDrag. So this function is not created by me actually. It's actually by default itself in Unity engine it have it. Okay, so on MouseDrag, so we put the debug.log and test it out. Can drag. Okay. So remember to save the script. Okay, so to actually make this function to be working, the first rules is actually must have a collider attached to it. Okay. So which means that the drag item actually must have a collider. Okay, and the script itself must be in the drag item itself as well, so the function only can be workable. Okay, so let's say if I actually replay right now. Okay, so if I drag, yes, it have the function is working, and if I actually click another place, it won't be have this debug. Okay, cool. Okay, so after we actually have this function ready, the next thing we are going to do is make sure when we actually drag the item, it actually follows the mouse. So in here, we actually needed this vector tree. I will actually call it current screen point. Vector tree, and then here we'll be putting our mouse input dot x. So we actually get the mouse position accordingly. So how about our z right now? Okay, so if you actually just put like input dot mouse position dot z, okay, later on we'll check it out. Okay, so another thing that we needed is current position. So later on, when we actually have this current position, then the item will be follow the mouse. So it actually need to convert to word point because of the sprite is actually using word point position. So for screen point is actually for canvas. Okay, that's why we actually need to convert it. Okay, so right now we have to assign the current drag item position to the position that's actually for the mouse. Okay, so save this script. Let's see what happened. Okay, so when we play, so when we drag, okay, it seems like workable in here, but it doesn't show in here, right? The thing is, if you check on the drag item, it's actually -10 because it's actually get this screen point -10 for the main camera. So if you actually put to 0, it should actually appear. Okay, right? But in fact, we actually cannot just straight away put 0 here. Okay, so let's see what happened. Okay, so when we drag that time, it's still actually getting -10. Okay, so there's something that we actually have to fix is we actually have another function needed. It's called void on mouse down, because the moment that we actually mouse down the drag item, it will just store the position. So in the code right now here, we actually have to define something called probably called screen point. Okay, and then I will actually need a start position. So the start position will be record the current position of it. Okay, so in the void on mouse down, the start position is the current game object dot transform the position. Okay, so even you put this dot transform position is workable as well. It's the same. Okay, so we have to have the screen point. Were the screen point game object dot transform the position. Okay, so probably we actually needed another one. Save it. Let's try and see first. So let's say if I just put screen point dot z in here, save it. So if I play it, okay, if I drag, yep, just working good, right? Yes. Okay, so now it's actually get the 0 point in here. Probably right now we will be very confusing, like why we actually convert ver to screen point and screen to ver point, right? There's something actually because of this mouse position. If you actually go to the documentation for Unity, the input mouse position actually is in pixel coordinates. So the pixel coordinate is actually we actually have to convert it because it using screen point. Okay, that's why we actually need to convert to ver point, so it's actually usable for the transform position. Okay, cool. So, and in here actually we converting the game object transform position to a screen point. Yes. Okay. So only it can actually put inside here. Okay. if you didn't convert it here, then you actually cannot get the correct one. That's why we actually needed this step. Okay. So right now, if you actually look at this, right, the next thing we are going to do is we actually have to put in this drop place. Okay, so probably to make it correctly, then actually I make sure the scale is the same, 0.4 for the main one. Okay, so this also I actually put in 0.4 in the scale size. Okay, so this one I put it as drop place. Okay, one is drag item, another one is drop place. Okay. So right now I want to drag this Kirby into this drop place. Okay. So if we just put in like this, nothing will be happen. And the current problem right now is we actually have to fix the layering side. Okay, so because I want this to be in front, this should be at the back. So right now, the order in layer for drop place is 0. So to drag item, we can actually put in 1. So it will be actually in front. Okay, so if you play, yep, it should be in front. But it won't be dropped inside. It just can drop at any place right now. Right? Okay, so what we actually can do is, okay, so the first thing that we actually needed as well is collider for this drop place, because later on we actually will check whether this collider collide with this drop place or not. Okay, so I'll add in the box collider 2D for this as well. Okay, so if I added this, and then right now it just, okay, yeah, okay. And then another things that we needed for this drag item is called rigid body. Okay, if you actually didn't have rigid body, collision will not be happen. Trigger will not be happen as well. So in this drag item, I will needed a rigid body 2D. Okay, so in this rigid 2D, when we added, right, it actually have a physics, like a mass, gravity. So in here, if we didn't adjust anything, the Kirby will be actually falling down. Bye bye, like that, right? So the gravity scale have to put in 0 because we don't want it to be 4, but we want the collision to be happen. So when we drag, yeah, I just feel that there's something blocking me like that. It's like, you see my Kirby's are rotating because of the collider right now. Two of them actually have a very solid object. Okay, so to ensure that's not to be happen, so in the drop place, this trigger must be tick, or the drag item tick is trigger also can. So when I drag, yeah, it won't be like affect two of them as a solid object. Okay, so let's go inside the scripting part. Okay, so to actually have the collision just now, I'm going to use on trigger enter 2D. Okay, so this function also not created by me. It's actually from Unity also. So it's very precise. You actually very be careful with the spelling side. So if you actually spelling wrong, then it actually will be your function ready. Okay, so make sure the spelling, everything will be correct for this part. So if right now this script is at the drag item. So if other game object dot name is who, okay, is who. So my who right now is actually the drop place. So this name actually have to get from this, okay, drop place, exactly the same name. Okay, cool. So when we have that, remember to put a debug so you can test this script whether it's workable or not. Then the drag item get inside the drop place. Yeah, I probably put this debug. Okay, let's try it out. So when I play, when I drag, yeah, see, the drag item get inside the drop place. Yeah. So if I go inside again, yeah, it will get inside again. Second time, get inside again. Okay, that's what we actually wanted to do. Okay, so even though right now we can actually drag inside the drop place, but it won't stay at these places because the first thing we actually have to do is we have to know this position as well. So when we drag inside, we have to assign this position to this position. But in our code, we didn't do it yet. Okay, so right now in the code over here, I just have to know who is the drop place. Okay, so game object drop place game object. Okay, then I actually have to assign the not assign, is get the position for this drop place at the start of the game. Okay, drop place position. Okay, so when start the game, I actually get this drop place position already from the current drop place game object dot get component. So I get the transform dot position. Okay, so you actually get the object position for this code and actually assign to this vector 3. Okay, save the script. So go to our drag item. Okay, so who is a drop place? Drag him inside. Okay, currently we actually just get the start position for this drop place. We actually haven't do assigning on the function yet. Okay, so when we actually drag, when is the time we really wanted to drop this? Is when our mouse is actually up, right? When we actually stop dragging. So there's a control of the input here. We actually have to do is void on mouse up. Okay. So when we up that time, the current game object, the transform position is full. So is the place to drop place position. Yep. Okay, save it. Okay, so right now in this on trigger enter, we actually haven't do anything yet. Okay, so if we play right now, So when I put inside and I mouse up, it sticks to that position. Okay, but another thing it could be happen is if I play it and I drag and I mouse up, it still go there, right? We actually have to check this place whether it's a correct one or not. Okay, so certain condition we actually have to do in here. Okay, so I will actually add a Boolean is correct place. So probably now is false. So in here, we actually will check on whether it's a correct place or not. So is correct place is equal to true. I assign to true. So when mouse up that time, it will actually check is it correct place or not. Then only assign to the job place position. So if is correct place is true. So this game object, it will assign to the correct position. Save it. Okay, so let's check it out. So when we play, so if I drag and I mouse up, it will just stay here. If I drag and go here and I mouse up, it will stick. Yes, exactly what we want. Okay, so there's some drag habits that most of the people will do is when we actually drag, when I release the mouse, normally it will actually go back to this position, right? So we can actually do another checking, else it will actually go back to just assign the current drag item position to the start position. Yeah. If we actually stop dragging or it's not in the drop place. Okay, so when we play, so if I drag and I mouse up, yeah, it go back to the position, original position. So if I drag and go inside and release, yes. Okay, but right now, if actually even put in already, it can drag. You see, it still can drag. Okay, but let's say if actually I want to control the dragging, okay, because of this on mouse drag, I still can drag. So we can actually add another Boolean as well. Already stick maybe. So originally is false. So when we drag in the drop place already, here I will actually assign this to true. Okay. So if true, then cannot drag off. Okay. So I will add a condition. Already stick is true. Put a debug.log. Cannot drag anymore. Else still can drag. Okay. Okay, save it. Check it out again. So right now if I play, if I drop inside, yeah, it cannot drag anymore. Yes, exactly what we wanted. Okay, so hope you actually enjoyed this video. Remember, like and share and subscribe. Thank you.